Well, good morning again, everyone.
Good morning again, folks.
We're almost there. I'm so impressed that you made time to come to Mass on Christmas Eve morning. You probably have a lot to prepare, but it's good that we're here. You probably know that in the Catholic Church, when you have a major feast day, it doesn't actually begin with the calendar day. Liturgically, it begins the evening before. We traditionally say 4 o'clock. That's why we have vigil masses on Saturday evenings and vigil masses the evenings before major solemnities. This year, it actually starts not at 4 o'clock, but 2 o'clock, because there's a need for so many more masses due to the distancing requirements that the Cardinal has allowed Christmas Eve, Mass for Christmas, to be at 2 o'clock, which means Christmas this year doesn't begin at 4 o'clock, it begins at 2 p.m. on December 24th, which means that Christmas is 4.5 hours away. We're not there yet, but we're almost there. But we are still in Advent. This is the last Advent Mass you will go to. If Joseph and Mary were alive right about now, he'd probably be driving her to the hospital. And she's about to go into labor. And this year she'll give birth at 2 p.m. When Father Michael and I were ordained priests, Cardinal Dolan gave a beautiful homily. And he said something in the homily that really struck me, and that kind of perplexed me when he said it. He said that every priest is another Mary. And you could probably figure out why that perplexed me. That's not what we're used to hearing, is it? What are we used to hearing the priest being another of? Another Jesus, another Christ. You might have grown up with that Latin term, alter Christus. The priest is another Christ. So Cardinal Dolan said the priest is another Mary. And I thought, what is he getting at with that? But his explanation was gorgeous. He said, Mary's greatest merit was that she gave the second person of the Trinity, the Son of God, a human nature. Jesus he wasn't Jesus yet until he was born, so the Son of God already had a divine nature in heaven from all eternity, forever and ever, but he didn't have a human nature. He needed someone to give him flesh and blood to take on a human nature. And the person who gave that to him was Mary, by allowing him to be conceived in her womb, by carrying him to term and giving birth to him. Mary's greatest gift to Jesus was his human nature. So Cardinal Dolan said to us, every priest is another Mary, insofar as every time a priest says Mass, he gives once again to the Son of God, the second person of the Trinity, a human nature. The Son of God takes flesh under the appearance of bread and wine at every Mass. And it's the priest, through his ordination, through his words of consecration, holding that piece of bread, who gives to the Son of God, the second person of the Trinity, flesh. And he does in that moment exactly what Mary did at the Annunciation. He gives to the second person of the Trinity a human nature. I thought that was very beautiful. And I think about it often when I say Mass, that when you witness the second half of the Mass, we're witnessing the birth of Jesus every single time you come to Mass. There are a lot of Eucharistic themes in the Christmas story, and I would like to end Advent on that note with all of you. And the fathers of the Church, who were wonderful at reading deeper spiritual meanings into Scripture, saw the Eucharist everywhere at Christmas. What is the meaning of the town where Jesus was born? Yeah, he was born in Bethlehem, house of bread. In Hebrew, Bet-lehem, house of bread. That's not a coincidence. The greatest piece of imagery, what was Jesus put in when he was born? A manger. What's a manger? It's a feeding trough for animals. Animals eat out of a manger. God could have arranged for them to find a crib or a cradle or a bed for Joseph and Mary to coddle baby Jesus in, but he didn't give them a cradle or a crib or a bed. He gave them a manger, a feeding trough where animals eat from, showing that this baby Jesus is destined to become food in the Blessed Sacrament, the Eucharist. What name do we hear of Jesus all throughout Advent and Christmas? We hear Emmanuel. What does Emmanuel mean? God is with us. That's the term we hear for Jesus at the beginning of the Gospel of Matthew. How does the Gospel of Matthew end? What are the last words Jesus speaks in the Gospel of Matthew? The very last words he speaks are, "Behold, I am with you always, even until the end of the ages." And how does the church see that promise fulfilled? Right there, in the tabernacle. That's how he's with us until the end of the ages, in the Eucharist. The Eucharist is everywhere in the Christmas story. In the town where Jesus was born, in the manger that he was placed in, even in the very name he was given, Emmanuel. So, in one sense, we still have to wait 4.5 hours for Christmas to truly liturgically be here. But in another sense, we only have to wait 5 minutes. Because if Christmas is the birth of Jesus, and if Jesus is born at every Mass, that means in 5 minutes we're already experiencing Christmas. And we don't have to wait till 2 p.m. And frankly, every single time you go to Mass, it's a little Christmas that you're experiencing. It's another birth of Jesus. And every time you receive that Eucharist, he's increasing sanctifying grace in your soul. He forgives your venial sins. He increases faith, hope, and love. And he sets you free of all those things that hold you in bondage. With every Eucharist, we are a little more set free. And that's why every time we come to Mass, it is a little Christmas, and we are able to say with Zechariah in today's Gospel at every Mass, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Israel, for he has come to his people and set them free."